Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back to the Uncle Sharma channel here today for another big match preview. Once again, doing this off my mobile phone, off my iPhone. So apologies for the quality of the video and the sound. Just have to cope with me whilst my laptop is behaving like Stefano Sensi. Once again, it's down. Let me know quickly if you can hear me well. Badr in the house. What's up, brother? Let me know if you can hear me well. I've got my headphones in. Hopefully you guys can hear me well. Let me know quickly before I start talking and it's pointless. Yeah, how you guys doing? I'm happy that the international break is over, man. That international break, and now we haven't got an international break until March, I believe. So yeah, we've got nice 4 months now of football. Obviously, we've got the winter break in between. All good. Thank you very much, Badr, for confirming. Appreciate you. Yeah, so we've got 4 months now of just no international break, and I'm excited. Once again, we left Inter before the international break with a big match, another disappointing big match, really, because once again we should have got the win in the Milan derby. Now we've got this match, which is probably just as big. Obviously, there's not as much of a rivalry with Napoli and all that kind of stuff that you would have with AC Milan, obviously, but the table now requires Inter to win and beat Napoli now if you wanna really defend that patch that you have on the t-shirt, with the Scudetto winners, with the Scudetto holders. If we wanna hold that Scudetto for another season, we need to start clawing back some points, and this is the match to do it. And Inzaghi, we know this season the big match failures up until now. The Lazio match we lost. All the other ones we've drawn. Juventus, Atalanta, Milan. So this one really is one that we need to win for the table, but also for confidence, for Inzaghi to put a statement out that he deserves to be here. He's a big team coach. If he beats Napoli here at home as well, it's just a big confidence boost going into the remainder of the season now, because we've got 9 games up until the next break. It's going to be a busy period, so it's really, really important that we get this win. Talking off, there's a few talking points, of course. First of all, the few people that are in here, so it's a bit of a impromptu live stream, I understand, so I wasn't expecting many people, but there's 4 of you people here, so make sure you guys are leaving a thumbs up at least. Appreciate you all. Badr says, facing a league leader and a UCL promotion game in 1 week after FIFA week's damage is just unfair, man. Yeah, but it's unfair on all the teams. It's not like we're any worse off than everyone else. You see in Napoli had their guys. They have a few African guys that go all the way to Africa as well. Politano is out for Napoli. He's tested positive to COVID today, so he's going to be a big miss for them. Ex of the match. You always know with Inter ex players, it's good that Napolitano's missing out. And in the end, really, the balance of the injuries is not as bad as we initially feared. Dzeko was injured, but it looks like he's going to be recovering. We're not sure whether he's going to start, but he's been training with the team normally now for the last couple of training sessions, so he's back. Lautaro was also rumored to have a slight knock, but he's going to be fine. He's going to definitely be a starter. There was fears for Bastoni. He's back as well. De Vrij now he's actually the big miss of this match. He's the player that we are going to miss. I think it's going to be interesting to see how De Vrij is going to be replaced. And you can see the predicted lineups below. The rumored starting 11 is the usual: Handanovic, Skriniar, Bastoni, but in the middle it's Ranocchia, the frog, Mr. the former captain of Inter in the Banter era. What's up, Wissam? So let me know how you guys feel about that. Future Hendrix, of course, in the house as well. Future Hendrix, perfectly spot on. It's time to win against the big team. Ranocchia versus Osimhen, though. Yeah, that's the big concern, isn't it? I've seen on Twitter as well. People are shaky about Ranocchia potentially facing off versus Osimhen. But my thinking is, and also, by the way, guys, if you haven't checked it out, I did a full preview with a Napoli fan. He's called Dom. His channel is called Napoli Talk. So if you go, I'll leave the link in the description afterwards. But if you go and type in Napoli Talk on YouTube, you'll be able to find we had a really long chat, actually, a really enjoyable chat with him about this match. He split it in actually two parts. That's how long it was, two 40-minute parts. But yeah, we talked in that I actually prefer having a Ranocchia instead of the potential DiMarco option at the back, because when you think about it, in the back three, I've always said this, De Vrij is the most protected out of the three. De Vrij, hardly ever you'll see De Vrij going 1v1 against a player, because that position is more about covering the other guys, being behind the other guys, and reading the game, and is more about the positioning. Whereas Skriniar and Bastoni are the ones that, if we get counterattack, they're the ones who have to face a lot of guys 1v1, and they're a little bit more exposed. So Ranocchia, that's why he performed so well in the middle of the three as well for the last two seasons under Conte. Barely ever, got a match wrong, because that should be it should always be in his position. He just doesn't have the legs and the reading of the game really to play any other position. So I'm not too scared about that Osimhen Ranocchia matchup, because I don't think unless we, defend badly as a team and we leave him exposed 1v1, I don't think that will happen. I feel like this team has found a little bit more balance now. And actually, Osimhen, how many players do you know that run straight through the middle of a team? Like, that never happens. It will be, if Osimhen, he's going to be, how Lukaku used to do, he's going to be drifting to one of the sides. He's either going to drift to the left-hand side or he's going to drift to the right-hand side, depending on the position. And he does that. He switches around Osimhen. That's what makes him such a headache for defenders. So actually, he's not really going to face Ranocchia 1v1. Ranocchia is going to have to duel with him in the air, when he's receiving ball back to the defense. But so Ranocchia will have to be on top of him, make sure that he doesn't spin on his first touch or something like that. So actually, if DiMarco played, then I would have been worried, because then DiMarco would have been the one exposed against Osimhen, potentially, in open space. And I'm still not quite convinced about DiMarco in that position. I think it's fine if we're chasing the game. Let's say we're losing 1-0 to Napoli, God forbid, but then you bring on DiMarco to add that extra impetus when you're attacking. So actually, I'm preferring this option. One option that I didn't want to, we never get to see. What's up, brothers? And now we got Cartel in the house as well. What's up, brother? Wissam Frog is one of the, I want to say he's one of the best players at Inter, but yeah, he's one of the most professional players at Inter for sure. And I think he's put past a lot of those fears that we used to have about Ranocchia in the past. But one thing we've never got to see Skriniar in the middle. That's one thing I want to see. I want to see Skriniar in the middle of the three. One option I would have gone for personally, I would have gone for Skriniar in the middle of the three, Bastoni obviously on the left, and then D'Ambrosio as the right centre back. That's the option I would have gone for personally. But of course, this keeps, this is a back that would have been a unused back three. We've never done that before. So this is actually a back three that we have done in the past. So it's already, they have the understanding. So I'm completely fine with it. But I do want to see Skriniar in the middle of the three, because I feel like that could be his position in the future. As he grows older, maybe a little bit slower. Ranocchia was the one that improved Lukaku. We have to remind people of that. Lukaku, admitted himself that Conte put Ranocchia on him in training the first few months, back to goal, smashing him from behind, and until he got his touch right, his hold-up play right. He probably needs his Ranocchia at Chelsea again now. I agree, Dan. I don't like DiMarco as a left centre back. And it's not even his fault, but he can't do it. You can't have a 5'7" or 5'8" left centre back. He's just too short. There's nothing he can do about that. He can't grow, and he's not physically imposing either. I think if you're playing three at the back, you can get away with it, as I said, if you're chasing a game. But starting a game against Napoli, against Lozano, Osimhen, Insigne, Zielinski, I don't really see that happening. Kolarov versus Osimhen. Oh my God! Don't even remind me that we still have Kolarov on our team. That at least, like with DiMarco, I'm more confident with DiMarco than Kolarov last season for sure. Future Hendrik says he wants to see Tuchel from the start. Yeah, so in the predicted lineup, actually, until yesterday, it was Dzeko, Lautaro, the usual starting front two. But with Dzeko, as we discussed, he's come back from his injury, which he suffered in the Milan derby, where he had to be taken off. And, I've been moaning at Inzaghi for like, stop playing this guy so much because he's 35 years old. He's not going to be able to hack it. And, lo and behold, he got injured. But at least he didn't play any minutes for Bosnia, so he's recovered. But at the same time, we have to also think about the next match on Wednesday, which is the Shakhtar match. So do you want to risk Dzeko for this match when you have another, really, really, that's another must-win match in the Champions League? So I wouldn't play him if he's not 100% or even 90%. I wouldn't play Dzeko. I would start with Tucu Correa, as Future Hendrik said. We've talked about it. Correa and Sanchez, both of these guys probably deserve more minutes, especially Sanchez. But now, obviously, he's got injured. But Tucu, after that 2 goals against Udinese, hasn't got a start. He only got those 20 minutes or so against Milan, and I feel like we still haven't really got to see that Tucu Correa Lautaro partnership that we hyped at the beginning of the season. Against Bologna they started and then Tucu got injured. Then they've played here and there, I think, as for a few minutes when they've been substituted on and off. But I do want to see that partnership from the beginning. And as I said, I would rather rest Dzeko and have him ready, fully 100% fit for the Shakhtar match, because we do need him. We do need him for sure in that match. A few other concerns is, of course, Barella. He was not good for Italy, but we know, even in the Milan derby, I feel like he didn't have a great match. But the guy is just drained. You can see it on his face. He's got like bags under his eyes. I mean, that could also be due to him having 3 kids at the age of 24 already. But he's also like overworked, the poor guy. We've talked about it when he was under Conte, now under Inzaghi. And now under Inzaghi, it seems even worse because it seems like Inzaghi just doesn't. Well, we probably have less options. Like, we don't have Eriksen anymore, but he just seems to be over-reliant, and Mancini for Italy as always seems to be very over-reliant on him. But tomorrow he has to start, and he did get substituted for Italy the 2 matches he played, so he didn't play full 90 minutes at least. So I do expect Barella, and usually does step up in big matches as well, but it's going to be a very difficult match for Barella, depending on how Napoli line up in terms of if a 4-2-3-1, then he's going to be up against probably the Serie A midfielder of the season until now, which has been Zambo Anguissa. Actually, you could say either Zambo Anguissa or Fabian Ruiz have been like the midfielder of the season until now. Those two have been really, really impressive. But he's probably, because he plays on the right and Zambo Anguissa plays on the left of the two, he's going to be up against the very physical presence that is Zambo Anguissa, very technical as well, great ball carrier, great dribbler, great, able to play out of pressure very well. So it's going to be a hard match for Barella for sure. So we'll see. That again says, hell no, it's a Colorado. Exactly, bro. Exactly. Future Hendrik says, why is Lautaro untouchable? Feels like his starting spot is guaranteed. Yeah, well, at the moment, as we said, I think now it shouldn't be untouchable anymore because of his form. 7 matches now without scoring for Inter. But Dzeko's injury, Sanchez's injury means he's the only, him and Tucu are the only 2 fit starting or fully fit starting, strikers at the moment. So that's why it's, I don't know. I'm not sure if Dzeko was fully fit, but it seems still, yeah, you're right. It probably does seem like Inzaghi still feels like Lautaro is the untouchable one, but it is what it is, bro. Like we said it at the start of the season, this is what happens when you put your full trust in Lautaro this season. We've talked about it. After Lukaku left, he's the main guy now, even though Dzeko has proved to be the main guy until now. But Lautaro, in the eyes of the club, the management, the wages wise, probably in his head as well, in Inzaghi's head, he seems to be the main guy. And he's going to turn it around at some point, guys. Like, I know Future, you've been on his back a lot, quite rightly. I mean, he's been on a stinky streak of form, and of course the Milan derby was bad. I mean, he had 2 clear chances that he should have taken at least one. But he's always been like this, Lautaro. He's always been like this. He's always very streaky. I remember last season he went through a period like this as well. And then in the video that I did with Mo, the tactical comparison between Inzaghi and Conte, we saw his underlying stats are the exact same pretty much as they were under Conte, in terms of he's got the exact same amount of goals he had at this point last season, the same amount of shots taken on goal, pressures, everything is like the same. It just feels like, because obviously we're expecting him to make a little bit of a step up, and the amount of chances he's had as well, that he should have more goals. We always feel that with Lautaro. He always feels like he should have more goals than he has. But when you compare it to last season, he's kind of had a pretty spot on similar start. So let's give him time. This guy is always a little bit streaky, and against Napoli, he has a decent record. I remember he scored a few times against Napoli. He does seem to like playing against Napoli as well. I'm going to stop calling him a big match player until he actually turns up now in a big match, because I usually call him a big match player, but this season he's not turned up in any of them. Juventus, Atalanta scored a nice goal and he was decent, but yeah, against that Milan. So I'm going to hold back on the big match player comments now for Lautaro. He doesn't deserve them anymore. But at the moment, guys, he has to start. We've not really got much of a choice. Yeah, we definitely need the 3 points after those 2 draws. Tuku is either bad or banging in the brace. Yeah, that's true. But how many starts has he had? I only think he only had like 3 starts. And then he's also had 2 injuries since he's been at Inter. And then, when he comes on a substitute, he's got like 20, 25 minutes. Like, it's always difficult for players. I always feel like it's very harsh to judge players when they're not getting, like, he needs at least 3-4 matches in a row starting. And then we can say, oh, okay, this guy's just not fitting in. This guy's not good enough. If he's just chopping in and out, getting minutes here and there, and then, yeah. And Inzaghi, like, asked for him so badly. Like, we paid, 31 million for us is a lot of money right now. We overpaid for Tuku Correa because Inzaghi wanted him so bad. And he needs to start more. If he wanted him so bad, start him. Like, he needs to be starting. Hakan is on form, yeah. I mean, you gotta say he was man of the match. I think quite hard to say. You could say Perisic maybe was against Milan, but for me, he was man of the match against Milan in the derby. And it looks like in the predicted lineups that he's the starter ahead of Arturo Vidal. I would personally put Arturo Vidal in there because of the physicality of someone like Zambo Anguissa in there, and how Fabian Ruiz has been playing. Probably Zielinski will drop in a little bit deeper as well to make it a 3 midfield. It's usually a 4-2-3-1 for Napoli, but it is really a 3 centre midfield. So I personally would have gone for Arturo. And he's like well rested because he got sent off for Chile after like 15 minutes in the last match. Whereas Hakan played, all the matches for Turkey as usual. But once again, I'm as you guys know on this channel, I'm not a Hakan fan until he came to Inter, but I'm just gonna continue to defend him, and I still feel like he's over criticized, and hopefully that Milan match is kind of the turnaround for Inter fans. I mean, the shamelessness with which he celebrated, surely you got to start liking the guy now in front of how he celebrated in front of the Milan fans, and actually proved me wrong. I didn't want him to start, but I also thought that he wouldn't have the mentality to overcome the boos and use the boos. Like that takes a lot of balls, that takes a lot of cojones what he did, and I didn't expect that from Hakan, so fair play to him. Of course, with Sam Sforza Inter as usual. The playing deep counter-attack game beats Spalletti in any day. We saw it in his Inter days. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't draw too many comparisons to that Inter team to this Napoli team, but yeah, I think that's the weakness of any team that dominates possession, is hitting them on the counter-attack. But I just feel like this Inter team doesn't really have that counter-attacking ability, because if you have Darmian on the field, you lose that counter-attacking ability, unless it's like a peach ball out from Bastoni or Brozovic, like we saw in the derby, where he got in behind Ballo-Toure. And once again, Mario Rui is potentially a weak spot of Napoli, like Ballo-Toure was in the derby, because Mario Rui, he's had a good season this year. Spalletti has managed to turn him around and make him actually a solid defender, but he still is the weak point of that Napoli defense at the left back position. He's the one that can do these rash decisions, rash penalties, rash red cards. So Darmian should definitely try to target him. And I wouldn't be even against starting Dumfries in this match, even though he doesn't give us any confidence in big matches at the moment, Dumfries. But physically, up against Insigne, up against Mario Rui, you know, the two, the dwarf left hand side of Napoli, the physical mismatch that Dumfries gives you would be quite interesting to see, in my opinion. But of course, he just doesn't give you that solidity defensively at the moment. So Darmian obviously deserves to start. We need an aggressive striker. I mean, Lautaro is an aggressive striker. I think he's one of the most aggressive strikers out there on, you know, in world football. It's just he's going through a bad patch at the moment. I think, you know, you can't find many more aggressive strikers than Lautaro. This guy, that's why he's called the bull. Like, he just has that, you know, that grinta, that pressing, that anger that he plays with. It's just at the moment his anger is not being translated correctly onto the pitch. I want to see Insigne against Dumfries. Yeah, exactly. That would be an interesting matchup to see Mario Rui and Insigne against Dumfries. And Dumfries, once again, if you watch my last video, I talked about how Dumfries actually had a good international break. Obviously, his Inter time has been a bit shaky at the moment, but for Holland, he got an assist against Montenegro and he played both matches at right back in the four. But still, it's good to see him gaining back confidence and putting in good performances. So hopefully he can bring that in. So that's why I wouldn't be completely against starting Dumfries. It could be interesting. But I feel like we've seen I think he's more suited to the Champions League at the moment, Dumfries, because the matches are a little bit different, less tactical. We can't complain about Tuchel. He got 6 points with less minutes than everyone else. Yeah, I mean, he's right up there with Giovanni Simeone at the moment in terms of goals per minute ratio. So I really don't see how he can complain about Tuchel in terms of what he's provided until now with his injuries and with his limited playing time. I think he's been, you know, good until now, in my opinion. Of course, you could say I'm biased because I like Tuchel, but I think facts are facts, as Future Hendrik says. Yeah, exactly. We don't have the pace anymore for a counter attack. Lautaro, even though he's small, he's not the quickest. The only guy who's good on the counter attack is Tucu Correa, as we saw with his Lazio time. He's good, but again, he's not like lightning quick. Dzeko, we don't need to talk about his pace. Darmian isn't the quickest. Perisic is quick, but again, you know, he's 32 years old now. He's not the same Perisic, but he still puts in a shift there. There just isn't that out and out, you know, pace on the counter attack anymore. You have to rely on you have to do a few more passes now before you could just rely on the Hakimi, you know, who was probably the quickest player in the whole league, not even in the whole league. Now we've got Dumfries has got decent pace, but again, it's not, you know, because of the size that he is, it takes him a little bit to get going. He needs to be in an open space to really use that pace. So yeah, it's going to be a really interesting match. Wissam says he thinks Dumfries is a very good player, just needs more time and more faith from his teammates. Yeah, he definitely needs both of those things, as you mentioned. I don't think he's a very good player. As I said, I have my reservations about Dumfries, but I think he'll turn out to be a decent signing by the end of the season. Let's just give him time, as you said. And yeah, the teammates point is very true. Like, you just see the teammates don't really trust him at the moment. A lot of times when he's open, he's not passed the ball a lot. But, you know, that's probably from them seeing him in training as well. Maybe even in training, they don't really see that, you know, potential in him. But it'll take time. Yeah, exactly. Nursery, we haven't seen much of Kola. And this, I think, the more I talk about it, the more I do want to see it against, you know, their backline. Napoli only conceded 4 goals in the league this season, which is amazing. That's like a quarter of the goals that we've conceded. We've conceded 13. So they've been solid. But on an individual level, they're not amazing. Apart from Koulibaly, who's, I think now this season, he's gone back to he's probably once again the best defender in the league. Him, Skriniar, and Tomori for me are the top 3 defenders in the league this season for me. But Ramani, even Di Lorenzo as well, we've seen for Italy, this guy can be shaky defensively. Mario Rui defensively definitely can be got at. You know, Zambo Anguissa in midfield is solid, but then Fabian Ruiz is, you know, a bit of an up and down midfielder, very talented, but defensively, you know, you can get in behind. So I can see us scoring goals with Tucu Correa and Lautaro front line. We just need Lautaro to start, you know, banging in some goals for us. What drugs is Simeone on? Yeah, man, that guy. He's always been a decent player. I just never rated him as highly as some people did in the past. but you know, there's always a player every season that goes through a patch like that. Like remember, there was Mattia Destro last season was going through like a patch like that. There's always one surprise package every season, and we'll see how long he can keep it up. Because Verona in general have been a surprise package since Tudor's come in. But yeah, he's been, I don't know if he's been taking something special. Do you think Napoli will drop off like Milan last season? They don't have enough depth to win the Scudetto. Yeah, yeah, they have to drop off the 31 points, guys. This is a crazy. This is record breaking in terms of points, unbeaten. Like Inter, as we talked about with Mo. Yes, we're 2 points behind Inter last season, but you know this is a good. Any other season, this is a good amount of points you gather at this point of the season. But the problem is Milan and Napoli have just been overperforming, and both of them at some point will have to. They gotta lose a match. They gotta draw a few more matches. So it will calm down. And yeah, the depth. I think Napoli's squad has actually always been quite deep. Obviously, if you lose Koulibaly, that's anyone. You know, if we lose Skriniar, if we lose De Vrij, that's the drop off is big. But the one is that we saw last season. If Osimhen is out, then you know the drop off is massive. They've got Petagna or playing Mertens as a false nine. That's a big problem for them. On the wings, they're all right. They've got Politano, Insigne, Lozano, even Unas now, Zielinski, Elmas. In that midfield, they're very stacked. But the problem is, yeah, centre back up front, and surely at some point, they'll have injuries. They'll have people going for AFCON duty, so they will drop off. And that's why it's important tomorrow to win the match. The gap goes down to 4 points. Then you're there, ready to pounce. For more potential drop points further on in the season. If we draw tomorrow, that does not help us. That's once again like the Milan derby. That helps. Napoli will be happy with the draw. Coming to San Siro, getting a draw, they'll buy your hand off. Yeah, Dan Adkins agrees as well. Players like Simi, what are you referring to? Kuro Black. I think Inter can overwhelm any team. We just need to score more chances. Yeah, we've seen it. We rank number one in terms of XG, big chances created, everything, guys. Like all the underlying numbers are there. That's why I still have. It reminds me so much of last season under Conte, where everything, statistics-wise and in terms of what was happening on the pitch, told me to be confident and keep faith in the team. And then in the second half, it worked out. The same stuff is happening with Inzaghi. I see. The team now being more solid. All the goals that we conceded recently are all, either a stupid goal like the right own goal, or for set piece, penalty, or a stupid free kick from 40 yards. It's found a solidity. We're still creating chances, a lot of chances. We just need to start taking those. And I think, if Lautaro just comes back to even some decent form, not even like, amazing form, just decent form, where he takes at least 1 out of 2 chances, we're already going to be doing much better, I think. And then, yeah, if Tuku and Lautaro manage to find, that partnership, and then it's amazing. And actually, our on Who Scored, I can't pull up anything on screen. I apologize because I'm using my mobile phone. But our previous meetings with Napoli, we've been pretty good against Napoli. Last match, we drew against them away. Before that, we won. We won before that. Then there was a draw. And then there was another draw before that, and then we won before that. So in general, under the Conte time, we were pretty good against Napoli. So hopefully we can keep up our record against Napoli. And remember the match that we won against them last season? That was one of the first few terrorist matches that we played with Conte. Remember, it was like, I think we ended up with like 35% possession or something in that match. And then we got that penalty. Insigne got sent off. I think we probably might have to play a match like that. And as I said, even in the before the derby match, what's up, man? I don't care about the performance in this match. I just want to win. I'm happy. Like this team has given us the performances until now in the big matches, and has not given us any, 3 points. I don't care if we Lautaro misses 55 chances tomorrow. As long as we get, the 1-0, the 3 points, that's all that matters tomorrow. I'm sick of playing well but not getting the result. It's a new environment for Inzaghi. We should consider that. Yeah, I think just the same as we talk about with Dumfries, we talk about with Hakan, all the new players, to Correa. Inzaghi is the same. This guy is his first big job in football, first time handling, all these different pressures coming off a Scudetto winning season for from the previous management. We've got to give Inzaghi time as well to get used to these players and adapt. 1-0 is more than enough. Yes, we need that, Allegri special 1-0. Yeah, we waste too many chances. Yeah, and what do you guys in terms of, are you guys happy with the midfield? Hakan, Barella, Brozovic? I'm happy with that. As I said, I personally maybe would just opt for Vidal because of his form and because of the physicality that he adds, but I'm happy to go with Hakan because he's also in form. Perisic now, I think, for now, Di Marco just needs to bide his time. Perisic is definitely the starting left wing back, and Darmian obviously the starting right wing back. Any other comments on the starting 11, guys? Yeah, Suning taking loans. Future Hendricks asked about that. That's the issue, guys. That's what we keep talking about. That Suning can't pump money into Inter at the moment. They can't raise capital or inject capital like Juventus just did. Juventus this past summer injected 400 million euros straight capital into Juventus because they made also 200 million losses. Inter, because of the Chinese block on foreign investment, and because of Suning's issues anyway, I don't know even if there wasn't the block, if they'd be able to do that capital injection, but they can't do it, so they have to find alternative means of getting the loan, and that's the way to inject money into the team. But that's the issue. That's why obviously we're going to cover Mercato news later on in the season in December, January when we start to talk, but I really struggle to see, and you guys know I always try to keep it 100 with you guys. I don't try to sell you guys a dream about potential signings. I've been on this kind of negative Suning ban for a little while because I was telling you even before last summer that what this summer is going to be a painful one, guys, and it was actually more painful than I thought. So expect more pain in my opinion. Until Suning stay, expect more pain. Sensi is fit again, Nerazzurri Netherlands. Sensi is fit again, but we just don't know how fit. That's the thing with Sensi and how much. I think Inzaghi's got to the same point that Conte got last season, where it's like, even when he's fit, can I trust this guy? Because it's a risky move for starting this guy, because you're like, I might have to waste a substitution in the first half. And we have to also say with the Sensi is he's not played football properly for how long? So this guy is completely out of rhythm in terms of match playing. Remember that game, the game he started against Genoa in the first match of the season. He was decent and he was playing kind of out of position. But it's like with Sensi, he also needs some time. Like this guy, you could say he's basically been out injured for almost 2 years. Like he's only had 1 or 2 games here and there in between coming back. But this guy is literally, it's almost like he's had a crucial ligament injury and he's like learning how to play football again, because mentally there must be some sort of block with this guy. So it's hard to even consider Sensi as part of the squad sometimes, and it seems like Inzaghi thinks the same. But off the bench, last season against Napoli, he actually made a really good substitute appearance, which his action led to us winning the penalty. So it would be interesting to see Sensi coming on as a substitute. I think that's the only way he can now start coming back into the team, if he stays fit, of course. Vidal in the second half of Napoli is tiring. He breaks things up. Yeah, for sure. He's made a good substitute impact in matches this season, Vidal, for sure. The reason Inter can't have 1-0 is because we just give up on defending. The midfield just fails to support the defense. It's a mess. We have to score goals tomorrow. Yeah, but I've liked the balance more in recent times. But yeah, we don't seem to be as solid as we were at the end of last season. But I'm seeing good signs defensively. I think it's going to be a close match. Who do you prefer playing in the right position, Ranocchia or Bastoni? I think, as I said, Ranocchia. I think you want to keep, but if Bastoni doesn't play at the left centre back, that means Di Marco plays. But I'd rather Bastoni play in that position and Ranocchia there. And it also adds that extra aerial threat and aerial stability for corners and things like that. Honestly, tomorrow in defense, I would do Skriniar middle, D'Ambrosio right, Bastoni left. Yeah, Mamala, I think you missed out my beginning. That's what I said. I do want to see Skriniar in the middle. I don't understand why he's not been tested out there. I feel like that would be a good position for him in the future. And yeah, having D'Ambrosio there as well. Game day today for Ruslan Malinovsky. Yes, Atalanta playing Spezia. Yeah, so it's a good Serie A match day today or this weekend. Well, Lazio Juventus. What are you guys making of that? Milan Fiorentina. I think Milan are going to win that easily. Obviously, Inter Napoli, big match as well. So it's an interesting matchup weekend. Last year when Milan dropped off, we pounced on them, as Zizou said, and won the Scudetto. But this year, I can't see any team that has the depth and capabilities to do that. Yeah, I think this year there's definitely not a clear favourite like last year, or I don't think anyone's going to win the Scudetto by a big margin. But it also depends what Milan do in terms of their Champions League. If they can go completely out of the Champions League, well, like we did last year, I think that makes them big favourites. Vlahovic turned up today, please. Yes, please do, son. I would love him even more if he does do it. But not Fiorentina have got I think the whole back line are pretty much injured apart from Biraghi, I think. So they're going to have to play a makeshift back line. And yeah, I just don't see that working out, unfortunately. One thing I want to talk about last before leaving, guys, and we do my match prediction as well. Spalletti returning to the San Siro. What do you guys make of it? I saw some conversations online about him potentially being even booed by some Inter fans. You know how the curva can be sometimes. It can be quite mean. It doesn't matter what you've done. But I feel like Spalletti, what he did at Inter, his 2 years at Inter. You guys know, if you follow me on Twitter, I'm a big Spalletti fan. In terms of what he did, in terms of taking us back to the Champions League, some of the things he implemented, playing out from the back, improving Handanovic, improving certain players, Brozovic, convincing De Vrij to come to Inter, the way he handled the Icardi situation, everything, I think he deserves to be applauded, as Amala says as well. I agree. So I hope the Curva or just the stadium in general is going to be 50,000 plus, give him a good reception. Of course, you can disagree with me about his time at Inter. I know a lot of people are split on Spalletti because of the crossing, inshallah, and he did get a bit stale, especially towards the end. But he's I've always loved this character on a personal level. I'm not saying he's the best coach we've ever had or he's the best coach in Serie A, but you can see what he's doing with Napoli. He's a good coach. Yeah, hope he does well at Napoli, but not too well. Of course, tomorrow we need to beat them and beat him. Spalletti deserves respect, as Karim says. I agree. I loved his interview. Spalletti's so philosophic. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I always loved him. There's also a reason to dislike him, because sometimes you watch his interviews and, because I understand Italian, and you just like it's like, see, the guy speaks in riddles. So it's nice to have people like Inzaghi and Conte who just kind of say, talk simple in a simple way. This guy is like, it was a Shakespeare, the Italian Shakespeare sometimes when he speaks, but he's such an interesting character. And yeah, he did great for us, for sure. But tomorrow we need to beat him. Give me your match predictions now, guys, before we leave. I'm sticking with my match predictions I did with Dom from Napoli Talk. I said a 2-1 victory for Inter. My 2-1 predictions are back. I think Skriniar, or one of the defenders, will score from a set piece, I feel. Chala's there with his set pieces. I think, yeah, we'll get one from a set piece. And I think Lautaro, come on, Lauti. We need you to come back to score. We need him to come back to scoring form. And I think, as usual, we'll concede like a silly goal or something. Let's see what you guys are saying. Wissam agrees with me, 2-1. Future Henry is going for a 2-2. Zizou is going for a 1-1. Toby, big Spurs fan in the house. What's up, brother? He's going for a neutral 2-2. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, both teams, well, Napoli have been very solid defensively, but as Dom, the Napoli fan, said, at some point they have to start leaking goals somewhere, and this could be the match where they start to leak goals a little bit. And we're at home. Come on. We're at home. I'm sure we can get that little boost. 1-0 terrorist football in the second half. I like it. That's what I hope, Dan. If I get a 1-0 terrorist performance, I would be the happiest person. 30% possession, one shot on target, one goal. Napoli 25 shots. Handanovic man of the match. Give me that performance straight into my veins. Tucu Correa straight into my veins. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing the Tucu Correa Lautaro partnership, if it is the starting partnership. Karim's going for a 4-2 into what? Geez, Napoli red card incoming. Yeah, you never know. And Insigne, I mean, have you seen the rumors, guys? I don't believe the rumors about Insigne because it makes zero sense about Insigne in this 3-5-2 formation. Like, where the hell is he going to play? But if he's, if you believe the rumors, maybe his head's going to be turned already. Maybe he's going to be distracted. We'll see. We'll see. Oh yeah, one thing to watch out for is because Politano is out, Lozano is going to be starting for Napoli pretty much 95%. And Napoli fans have been hating on him because he spoke quite badly on Napoli recently. He said like, he wants to play for a bigger club. Napoli are good, but he wants to be better. All this kind of stuff. So kind of using Napoli as a stepping stone. So he's got a point to prove tomorrow. So keep a lookout for Lozano. So he's probably going to be trying to make up for his comments, or maybe he's going to have another stinker. Fabian to score, yeah, he does. He does usually play against us, Fabian. Yeah, I could see it's like a Fabian deflected outside of the box shot going in or something like that. Crappy goal. But yeah, guys, thank you. There's 21 of you guys in here. Thank you for joining this impromptu live stream. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys are leaving a thumbs up down. And yeah, if you're watching this afterwards, comment down below your predictions. And I will see you tomorrow at 7:45 p.m. the kickoff in UK time. Wissam says Fabian is Quadrado for Napoli. Yeah, I guess he does perform quite well against us, doesn't he? But with Quadrado, I'm proper hater. I actually quite like Fabian Ruiz. I just hope Barella is back to his form. Karim says, yeah, I just hope he's nicely rested, mainly. Thank you, Wissam. Thank you for joining. Forza Inter Amala, yes, exactly. Yeah, if you're interested in supporting the channel, guys, as I said, you can join the channel membership. Your first pledge goes to Javier Zanetti's charity, the Pupi Fondazione. I wanted to actually try to do something for Christmas, something nice, like a charity drive where do something interesting for the channel maybe. But we'll think about that. But thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be joining you post-match with a positive stream. Once again, it will be off my phone, so I apologize for the lack of the usual quality, but thank you for keeping up with me. And as always, guys, Forza Inter. Ciao ragazzi.